Oh, welcome back to Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. I'm your host, Jeremus. Immediately after the conquest of Lyakis by Empress Alea, she holds a tournament with the victorious nobles in her faction. Now, if you're interested, I can discuss more about Empress Alea's reign. But for now, let's watch the tournament. Unfortunately, the Empress falls in her first bout of the tournament. Due to the wound she sustained during the battle, or so she claims. She does have luck in some tournaments, less so in others. The final round of this tournament is fought by Archon and Romand. In the end, it is Romand who succeeds in the tournament. I believe he is a Vlandian. However, the Empress has been so gracious as to make peace with the Vlandian rebels. According to source material, she hopes that the rebels will either destroy themselves or that they will come to join her willingly. Unfortunately for the Empress, this does not happen. Although she has managed to conquer the empire, many remnants of the barbarian nations still remain. The royal families although many have died, are largely intact. In addition, several clans still cling to the belief that they can turn around the Empire's great advance. The Empress's reign shall be marked by countless uprisings and rebellions. However, she leaves it largely to her vassals to deal with these uprisings. Anyway, I've more research to do. I will come back to you a bit later. See you then. Okay, we're back. As I was travelling here, this popped up. Declare war on Western Empire. Okay. Now, Garios happens to own a castle. If I declare war on him, will I be fighting Garios and his castle? Why not? Sure. Western Empire has nothing. Okay, Sanala is right there. We're fine. Okay, so that's fine. Anyway, I'll cut away here and come back a bit later. See you then. In the winter of 1106, all of the barbarian nations, whom Alea had either defeated or made peace with, have declared war. Technically, the Empress was at war with the Northern and Western Empire. However, their leaders have since capitulated, and there is no real need to declare war on these factions. Vlandia, however, has an army nearly 2,000 strong. The Sturgeons have almost 1,000 men and were besieging a castle to the far north. The Kuzite are negligible, as are the Vlandians and Aserai. Alea, however, felt no fear from these would-be conquerors, as they were diminished. They no longer had lands of their own. So she left it to her vassals in the field to deal with things, while she decided to take Ortysia from the Penraic clan and take it for her own. Ortysia. Now to do this, I bring forward the proposal to give the settlement to someone else. Now, this will cost me 4,600 influence, but I do very much want Ortysia. I don't want to give it to one of these idiots. I want it for me. No. I was hoping to get Ortysia for myself. Fine. I wasted all that influence for nothing. Although the Empress wished to take Ortysia for herself, her vassals were quite adamant. In the end, Ortysia would be awarded to Andros, formerly of the Northern Empire. Well, that's unfortunate. Things cost a lot more influence, I find, when I have more vassals. I was hoping to just take it, though I suppose I'll need everything has a price if I want to take that. Oh well, that's fine. Takor Castle up here is under siege, of course, as I mentioned. But I have confidence that Mina will deal with the rebellious Sturgeons. Anyway, I'll go up to In any event, Alea will go up to Rote, where she and her husband, Meritor, will spend their days and attempt to make a child together. I've more documents to look over, so I shall return momentarily. See you then, friend. Okay, I am back, good friend. Well, I've been looking over various documents, and I've found the policies initially enacted by Emperor Bartimus, and which were inherited by his successor and sister, Empress Alea. The policy of sacred majesty states that the ruler is considered semi-divine, and certain rituals are to be performed in his or her presence. This increases their air of authority, causing the ruler to gain more influence, and certain among the ruling clans to lose a bit of influence. The Royal Guard's policy states that the ruler maintains a prestigious guard force. It attracts warriors who might otherwise serve their local lord. This increases the size of the ruling clan's party. However, the non-ruling clans lose some influence. The noble retinue policies state that the nobles are expected to raise more sizable retinues in the event of war, causing the more affluent clans to build up larger armies, which was quite useful during Emperor Bartimus's reign. Now, the king's mercenary policy states that the realm has formally authorized the ruler to maintain a standing force of mercenaries, even in peacetime, increasing the ruler's influence, and non-ruling clans gain less influence from battles. This policy was indeed most useful to Emperor Bartimus during the early years in his reign, when he could call upon the nobles less and relied more upon mercenaries to expand his emerging kingdom. Now, his policy on cantons state that the ruler organized farmers into groups of households responsible for supplying troops. This makes recruiting troops easier, but at the cost of their economic productivity. Daily, this has increased the militia of various settlements and provides new recruits for the army. However, this also reduces the taxes of the various settlements, which the commons quite enjoyed. Under Emperor Bartimus, a senate was formed for the empire, which allowed the lords to have a formal role on the ruling council. This somewhat increased the influence of the non-ruling clans of the empire, as well as increase the size of their armies, as they could aid in decision-making policies. Emperor Bartimus also initiated a military coronet policy. Military achievements are favoured, and lords can vote to award each other decorations and distinctions. These distinctions increase the influence of the lords in question and increases the wages of the troops under their command. The soldiers and lords alike all agree that this is a fine policy, and aided in their support of Emperor Bartimus. Bartimus also enacted policies relating to the marshals, the highest ranking of nobles, have the de facto right to assemble large armies. This somewhat decreases the influence of the ruling clan and allows the nobles to amass armies much easier than previously. Now, Bartimaeus' castle charters policy states that the nobles are encouraged to fortify their estates and can requisition labour and materials to do so, which lessens the cost of increasing the defences of their own castles. This was very much favoured by the nobility of Calradia. Bartimaeus' bailiffs policy states that nobles have the right to appoint bailiffs. This increases town security. Towns with greater than 60 yield one additional influence to the owning clan, and taxes from the towns are slightly reduced. Emperor Bartimus also instated hunting rights in the hopes that it would increase his standing with the nobles. Nobles and other landowners have exclusive rights to hunt in the forests, which somewhat increases the food production of towns and castles. However, this does somewhat decrease the former emperor's loyalty among the commons. And finally, Bartimaeus also enacted a policy of feudal inheritance, which states with strict and formal laws of inheritance and makes it more difficult to revoke land, as seen when Empress Alea attempted to take Ortysia for herself. This makes the cost of revoking fiefs from other clans much higher in cost to the ruling clan, and slightly increases the influence of the non-ruling clans of the empire. All of these policies were carefully chosen by the emperor to both increase his power and increase the effectiveness of his armies as he was conquering the lands of Calradia. Empress Alea chose to review the policies and felt that they were adequate, but also felt that she should make other changes to them. Under Empress Alea, she imposed a land tax, a shift in the tax system that put more emphasis on property and less on the head tax charged to everyone could collect more from wealthy landowners. Tax which gives more wealth to the ruling clan. Empress Alea felt that the best way to increase the power of the monarchy was to initiate more taxes. While this was fairly popular policy that was passed, it had less support among the common people. Though not every nobleman was in favour of this change in policy. After this, Empress Alea also instated a policy which on the debasement of the currency, which states that the ruler could make money fast by debasing the currency and minting more. However, this would also cause prices to rise. This provided more wealth for the ruling clan, However, this also, as I stated, increased the price of things, which was looked on most unfavourably by the common people. Truly, nothing gets the common people more ready to rebel against the powers that be than high taxes and high prices. And again, this policy, while favoured by most, was disagreed upon by certain of Empress Alea's vassals. In time, these new policies that Empress Alea has instated may cause problems down the road. These policies, of course, were enacted in the winter of 1106, just after her victory. Anyway, I have more documents to look over. I hope you have enjoyed this little lesson on policies of the Kharadic Empire. Anyway, I will see you a bit later, my friend. See you then. Also, during that same winter, the Empress takes a hand in the education of her niece, Luvina, who I suppose the Empress has taken under her wing. Luvina was at an age when it was customary to assign well-born children a tutor. You decide to entrust her to your... Although Empress Alea had several candidates, her master-at-arms, steward, her artisans, scholars, her local huntsman, and her court minstrel, in the end she chose to educate Luvina with her steward. You felt that your child should learn first and foremost how to manage the family property and govern your retainers. As Luvina will one day become the lady of a great family, or perhaps herself become empress, should anything happen to her brother Claudius. It seems that Luvina's training was geared towards the importance of learning prices and trade, according to her own diaries and the accounts of Empress Alea. The local steward has written that he is happy with the child's progress. He informs the Empress that she shows some natural talent in roguery. It would seem that Luvina has become something of a troublemaker after the death of her mother and father, much like her own brother Claudius. However, despite this, she matures much better than her brother. Your steward acts as magistrate in the Lord's absence. The child will sit at his side as he rules on land disputes, family feuds, and cases of alleged banditry, giving her a look at the darker side of life in Calradia. Well, that was interesting. Anyway, I'll cut away here and come back a bit later. See you then. During that same winter, pleased at her niece's educational progress, Alea holds a tournament in the town of Rote. The bets yield lower rewards, I find, as Alea climbs the tournament leaderboard, I mean. She's also replaced the 2 companions she lost with 1 spice trader and a man known as the Fish. Something the Fish, who has some scouting skill. Ulrich the Fish, right there. In the end, Empress Alea battles an Imperial Legionary for the Grand Champion's prize. And the Empress manages to win this particular tournament. She gains bronze pauldrons with neck guards as her prize. Although Alea seldomly won tournaments while her brother Bartimaeus was emperor, she won quite very many after she became empress. Was this the result of her cheating, or was she truly that skilled and not quite as skilled as her brother? I suppose that is for historians to debate. Anyway, I will see you a bit later. See you then. Oh, there you are, my friend. I've returned from the archives. I found a document in which Empress Alea, during the winter of 1106, finds that she is with child. During the winter, at the age of 37. I still have more research yet to do, so let's have a drink and I'll get back to my work. See you in a bit later. Okay, I'm back. Well, since last time, after Alea became pregnant at Rote, she travelled over to Dunglanis, Manurath, Sionon, then Varcheg, Revel, Epicotea, Diathema, and finally Argeron. Since I cut away, the year changed from 1106 to 1107. Currently it's the summertime. Alea's fought in several tournaments, dealt with bandits, bandit lairs and bandit parties that are fairly large. And she's kept her husband, Maritor, in a party in her company. she's also left a few extra troops in some of the garrisons on her path, and purchased a few workshops. One in Sionon, Varcheg, Epicratea. I forgot to do Diathema, but I did do one in Nagaron here. Anyway, Alea's going to travel over into the east, where she's going to purchase a few new enterprises. However, along the way, I've noticed a little trick you can do with a party leader who happens to be not a companion, but a noble. I'm going to talk to Maritor. And this is a great way to increase the trade skill. I've made a bunch of javelins, and I'm going to give them all to Maritor here. That's something I'd like to discuss. I have a proposal. And what I do is his trade skill's around 200 and something right now. But if I give him a bunch of javelins, he's going to sell them here at Argaron and other places along his way. And he is going to get a lot of money. And he's going to use them to trade or something. No, I give all that to him. Now I'm going to leave this particular fief. And his trade skill's going to go up or something. Character. I think this was around 270 earlier, and it's suddenly up to 294. He also didn't have this level right here to spend. So that's a good way to increase the trade skill of your family members. You know, people who are with your clan. And Maritor already had a bunch of social skill and trade when he, well, became Alea's husband. I increased his trade skill. It was around 100, I think, when they first got married. Now, what shall I increase? Leadership seems promising since he has a bunch of social. Perhaps I'll do tactics next. And I'll reset that. Actually, I'll do tactics. He seems like a tactical fellow. Maybe steward. Anyway, I'll cut away here and come back a bit later. See you then. Okay, I'm back. Well, after stopping an Emprella, Maritor sold some javelins and has increased his skill to everything has a price. So, I'm curious, if I keep Maritor in my party, will I be able to use everything as a price with him? That's a good question. I will experiment with this momentarily. However, it does only say it's a personal skill, so I'm uncertain. But by giving him javelins and stopping in various towns along my path, while he has his own party in my army, I've been able to increase his skill to 300, trade skill to 300, and he can use everything as a price. So that's useful. Anyway, I'm about to attack this little hideout beside Emprella, so let's get started. I like to use this opportunity to upgrade my weaker soldiers. I'll take the freebooter, Sea Raider, A few Imperials. There we go. And we're done. Currently I'm trying to increase my character's roguery skill. They can deal with that. I'm getting better at attacking bandit lairs. Now to fight the leader. I usually like to use two-handed weapons against one-on-one opponents, or if I happen to have people around me. If I'm alone, I prefer the one-handed weapon. There we go. And Alea took out 13. Rather good. Quite a few new troops. I'll throw those in Umbrella. Could use more troops in the garrison there. It's fine. Anyway, I hope you guys have found this little video informative. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. See you then.